Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
For 12 years now, 12 years, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jon Moxley together dominated pro wrestling across the two biggest wrestling companies in the world. The Shield is now without a single doubt the most dominant group in WWE history. Not just only what the three were able to accomplish together as a group, but even after that. When the group split up and ventured into their own careers, they were able to come out of the group just as successful as the others. They became the heart and soul of pro wrestling for the past decade, and to a lot of people have created the most biggest and thrilling memories of the 2010s. From the fateful day in November of 2012 when they made their debut, all the way to the infamous night of June 2014, up until now, let's take a look back at what made the Shield so dominant for 12 years straight. We'll start by looking at them individually before we move to them together as a group. I'll start with Seth Rollins, but only because I've already looked at him in a separate video, so if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go check it out. I'll have it linked down in the description below and watch it after this one and all that stuff. But basically, from the years 2014 to 2019, Seth Rollins was the guy from the group. Not only because of the amazing achievements that he had, but mainly because he always understood the game better than Reigns and Ambrose ever did. He knew what he was doing. He always had a sense of direction towards all the characters that he was portraying. He was able to grab your attention and make you believe in whatever he was saying. He was amazing on the mic. He was amazing in the ring. He had the full package and was everything that you would want as a pro wrestler. If he was a heel, he was booed and hated by the fans. A face, he was cheered and loved and adored by many. This sense of good direction earned him multiple world title reigns among mid-card titles and everything like that. And to this day, people are calling him the workhorse of the WWE because he has simply put in the work harder than anybody else seemingly has over the past decade. He is the staple guy for Monday Night Raw and soon for WWE. But what about his Shield brethren? Well, up next is Roman Reigns, the chosen one from the group. And Reigns' case is very interesting because for a good majority of the time he was around, he was always a babyface, or he was always meant to be a babyface. He was meant to be WWE's new John Cena and a generational star, the biggest underdog. But despite this, the fans heavily turned on him and rejected him as a character because, from what I understand, it wasn't as believable as WWE wanted it to be. But they continued running with it, and even though fans were booing this man day in and day out, night after night, WWE continued to push this guy as the top guy and the top man in the entire company, ahead of acts such as Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins like I mentioned, and among others. Fast forward to August of 2020, which is the date that Roman Reigns finally turned heel for the first time, and since then has truly become a legitimate and believable star. Fans have always wanted to see him portray a bad guy because they knew that it would be perfect for him. His size, his look, his physique, it's just the perfect fit. And since then, he has now become the longest reigning Universal Champion of all time and has become the fourth longest reigning WWE Champion in history, rapidly closing in on Hulk Hogan's record reign, which is about 200 days away. And lastly, we of course have Jon Moxley, or as we knew him at the time, Dean Ambrose. This one is interesting because I'd say he is the most underrated member of the entire group. He's kind of like the Xavier Woods from the New Day, but simply due to the fact that he was never ever given a prominent and proper chance to shine like Rollins and Reigns did after the group split up. When they did end the Shield, Rollins and Reigns were taken straight to the main event, were given WWE title opportunities, WrestleMania main events, and prominent promos and all that basic stuff with the top stars and the top people in the company. while he was kept in the mid-card battling for the IC title. And I know the IC title is the Workhorse Championship, but Ambrose was meant to be the breakout star from the group. He was seen by fans as the guy that will one day main event WrestleMania ahead of Seth Rollins, ahead of Roman Reigns. He would be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He would be that guy. And when he finally did go to the main event, he still felt a bit short. He felt a bit second-hand due to the fact that he was feuding with such big names such as Styles and Cena, and he wasn't that, legitimate of a star and stuff. But it wasn't until he made an unexpected move did he really break through with the audience. You know how Reigns had to find his groove by turning heel in late 2020? Well, Moxley actually found his own groove by switching an entire company. When he made the move from WWE to AEW in 2019, he was instantly recognized as a star by Tony Khan and put in a prominent position, even as far as winning the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in 2020. Speaking of world title reigns, I think we all know at this point that all three of these men have seen their own fair share of world championship reigns. We'll start with Roman Reigns, who has a total of 6 world title reigns. His first title reign came in November of 2015 after he won it at Survivor Series and would win it again in December of that same year. His third title reign came when he won it in Dallas, Texas at WrestleMania 32 against Triple H, before losing it to Seth Rollins in that very same year just a few months later. His next world title reign would not be until the summer of 2018 when he beat Brock for the Universal title at SummerSlam, and the last 2 world title reigns that he's had up until this point was when he won the Universal title in summer of 2020 and the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 38 in 2022 against Brock Lesnar. We move to Seth Rollins, who has 5 World Championship reigns. The first reign came when he cashed in at WrestleMania 31 to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, effectively stealing that title away from his Shield brother, who seemed like he was going to beat Brock Lesnar. And then at Money in the Bank 2016, when he once again took the title from the man that he stabbed in the back, when he beat Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then just 3 years later at WrestleMania 35 against Brock Lesnar, and at SummerSlam in 2019 of that same year when he beat Brock Lesnar again. And finally, his final World Championship reign was the one that he's currently engaged with. And Jon Moxley, ayo, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't really keep in touch with AEW. All I know is that he won the WWE World Heavyweight title at Money in the Bank 2016 against Seth Rollins when he cashed in, and then he's had 3 more AEW World Championship reigns. Where he won them, when he won them, I have no clue, and I should have probably researched about it, but I wanted to get this video out, so I just thought, yeah, it's fine. I'll just say that he has 4 world title reigns, so at least you know that he has 4 world title reigns, right? I'm not trying to belittle him or something like that. I just don't watch AEW. Which means that the group has a combined 15 world title reigns between all of them, and counting. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna get even more world title reigns at this point. Currently, 2/3 of the group are still world champions of their respective company, and although it is quite a shame that Moxley went to a different company and we have the brand split with the WWE, it's quite a shame that we have never seen all 3 of these men world champions at the same time. It would have been very interesting seeing Roman Reigns as the world champion for SmackDown, Seth Rollins as the world champion for Monday Night Raw, and then Jon Moxley as the world champion for AEW Dynamite or whatever brands they have. Jeez, I'm sorry. But from World Championship reigns, we move to Total Championship reigns. And that's what we're going to look at next. These men have won many different championships all around the world. I'm going to briefly go through the WWE championships. Jon Moxley has won his own fair share of titles, being a 2-time tag team champion, a former United States champion, a former 2-time Intercontinental champion, a WWE champion, and of course a 3-time AEW world champion, which brings him to a total of 8 championships that he's won through his entire career from WWE and AEW. We then move to Roman Reigns, being a former tag team champion, a former United States champion, IC champion, and a 6-time world champion, which brings him to a total of 9 championships in WWE. And finally, the most decorated one of the entire group, Seth Rollins, being a 6-time tag team champion, a 3-time United States champion, a 2-time Intercontinental champion, and a 5-time World Heavyweight champion, making him a combined 16 total championships that he's won in the company, bringing home to the group a combined 33 overall championships and counting. You tell me, besides Evolution, okay, come on, don't cheat now. Besides Evolution, you tell me any other group that has won 33 overall championships in the WWE. That is just pure domination. I don't care what you say. That is true domination to the fullest. Aside from the championships that they've won and the titles and everything, I think it's important that we look at the other achievements just to understand just how dominant these three were. 2/3 of the group have won the Royal Rumble match, that being Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. 2 of them have won the Money in the Bank contract, Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley. 1/3 of the group has main evented WrestleMania multiple times against so many different stars in so many different areas and arenas and stadiums. Although I think that stat finna change real soon. And if Reigns main events this year, he will tie the all-time record with the most WrestleMania main event with 8. The only other man to ever main event WrestleMania 8 times was Hulk Hogan. All three of these men are Grand Slam champions. Seth Rollins remains the only man to ever cash in the main event of WrestleMania. Jon Moxley remains the only man to ever win the WWE and AEW World Championships. And he is also the only man to ever win the AEW World Heavyweight title 3 times. Roman Reigns remains the longest reigning WWE Universal Champion and the 4th longest reigning WWE Champion of all time. All 3 members of the group once won the WWE World Heavyweight title on the same night in Money in the Bank of 2016. All of them have been in a Hell in a Cell, and how fitting it is that Rollins and Ambrose had their first Hell in a Cell match against each other. Roman Reigns being the only one to ever win the infamous Elimination Chamber match between the 3. Oh my god, this video is becoming way too long to record, but we're in the final stretch now. Now, before we end the video, I think it's important that we briefly look at them together as a trio. Not per se the matches that they've had, but just the involvements that they've had with each other during each other's careers, if you know what I mean. Since making their debut in 2012, they dominated the years. One thing that WWE did right, whether it was accidental or not, I'm pretty sure it was, but whether it was accidental or not, is that they were able to incorporate all 3 of their careers into each other's career. Wait. When Rollins turned his back on them in 2014, he would then become the Money in the Bank briefcase holder guy. Mr. Money in the Bank, that's it. Mr. Money in the Bank. And who was his number 1 hater? It was Jon Moxley. Because Moxley just couldn't accept the fact that Rollins took away something that he loved so very much. When Reigns was about to win his first ever WWE World Heavyweight title in the main event of Mania 31, who took that moment away from him? Who stole that moment away from Roman? Well, it was the same man that stabbed him in the back just 9 months prior with a steel chair, Seth Rollins. When Rollins was WWE champion, again, who was his biggest hater? It was Dean Ambrose. When Rollins got injured, who took his place as the top guy in the WWE and simultaneously won his first WWE World Heavyweight title? It was Roman Reigns. Everything that these men have done are always connected to each other. It's almost poetic. When Rollins came back from injury to take back the title that he never lost, who did he beat for that championship? It was Roman Reigns. They created this narrative. They also created this narrative that Roman seemingly couldn't be world champion as long as Rollins wanted that title. But after he won the title, Ambrose cashes in and finally gets revenge on the man that caused him so much suffering, on the man that he hated with all his heart, Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, Seth Rollins. And in 2019, when Rollins won the Royal Rumble, why? It's because Reigns wasn't there to carry the company anymore. Whether it was accidental or not, whenever something big happens in one's career, it is somehow directly or indirectly connected to the other two's careers. They fit so well into each other's stories. It's almost poetic in a way. Everything that they do makes sense because it dates back to 2012. It dates back to 2014. Whenever they go back to that story, they retell that story. It makes sense because their careers have crossed each other's paths so many different times that, again, like I keep on saying, it almost seems poetic in a way. It's amazing. This is the one long-term booking that Vince McMahon actually did right that I can think of off the top of my head. We can go on the whole day about how these guys dominated the WWE and how they were simply built different, and whether they are together or separated, they really created something special for both AEW and WWE, and it's been a big ride. They made their debut in November of 2012, and about 12 years later, in 2024, they are still the most dominant group, faction, trio, whatever you want to call it, across 2 separate wrestling promotions in North America. They made us happy, they've broken our hearts, they turned their backs on each other with all the reunions, the betrayals, the matches, the moments. There is no, I'm saying this right now, there is simply, besides Evolution, there is simply no other group in the WWE that was ever as dominant as the Shield. Except Evolution. Anyway, that video took forever to put together, but if you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed everything about it, please leave a like, comment down below what was your favorite moments from the Shield era, everything that these men did over the past 12 years. What was your favorite moment? What continues to be your favorite moment? What is your favorite story that they've told? Everything about that. And while you're doing that, don't be shy to subscribe. I upload a video almost every single Friday. Not even almost, I upload a video every single week on every single Friday, so you can expect more videos like this. If you really did enjoy it, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.